Hey, how's it going everybody? My name's Tony and I want to help you learn how to design even if you have no design experience. Today we're going to use the envelope distort tool again, and we're going to take some text and put it around a block. Let's just jump right in Illustrator and get started. The first thing we're going to do here is grab the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle on our artboard. Now this could be any color, but we just want to make sure that it's filled in with no stroke, and we can adjust the colors later, so it doesn't really matter. We just need something so that when we make our 3D, we'll have different shades. So with that selected, we're going to go to Effect, 3D, Extrude and Bevel. Now there's different presets here, and my preset that I'm using is Off-Axis Front, and I want to make this extrude depth bigger, so we have room for our text. We don't want it too big, but we want it we're going to eyeball it, and then we're going to change our perspective to 50 degrees. And you can play with these settings until you find something that you like. And once that's done, we're going to hit OK. Now with that selected, we're going to go to Object, Expand Appearance. Then we're going to do Merge, Object, Ungroup. And now these pieces are all separated. So once we do that, we can select all of these, and now instead of just clicking one, we're going to have to take our selection tool and click and marquee drag over everything. I'm just going to make a copy, so I'll copy, edit copy, and then edit paste. I'll move this over here for now, and then I'll just move each of these individual pieces near where I'm going to end up placing them. So the first thing I want to do is grab this piece, and I'm going to change the color so that I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to hold down Shift, and it really doesn't matter because I'm going to resize this. So then I'm going to put this here so there's a little bit of a border between this new color and the one I'm putting it over. Then I'm going to use my direct selection tool here and adjust these anchor points so this is also in perspective, and you want to make sure that you make this as good as possible in perspective compared to the object that it's laying over. So now that I have this, I will grab my text tool, type a word, and this will just say front. And this text can be any size. It's going to stretch it to fill this. And we're going to go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. So for this envelope distort thing, this part right here needs to be in front of the object that I'm putting it on top of, it. So I'm going to click and select this with my selection tool, hold down Shift, and click my word. Then I'm going to go to Object, Envelope Distort, Make with Top Object. And that's just going to put my word right there in that panel that I drew. So now with that, I could select my text, go to Object, Expand, Object and Fill, OK. Now I can sample this green color and make the text that color. I'll sample it and then I'll make it a little bit lighter. We're going to do the same thing with the next panel. Make this a little bit smaller. Then we're going to go in with our direct selection tool. We're just going to adjust this until it is also in perspective. And then we want to remember when we're putting things in perspective that the objects that are further away from us, this is going to be visually smaller than the stuff that's closer to us. So this corner would be the closest thing to the viewer, so these lines would need to be a little bit wider than the lines back there. Not by much, just a little bit. Once we have that how we want it, then we're just going to repeat the same process. We're going to type in a word here, and this one's going to say top. We're going to arrange this by sending this to the back, the text. So now this is behind everything. Make sure this is selected with my selection tool. Hold down Shift, select this panel we just put in there and change the perspective on. And then we're going to do the same thing. Object, envelope, distort, make with top object. Make sure this text is selected again. We're going to expand that. We'll use the eyedropper tool to select this top color, and then we'll just make it a little bit lighter. And then we're going to do the same thing with this panel. We're going to make this a lighter color. Again, it doesn't matter what color we make it. We'll make this a little smaller. And then we'll just use the direct selection tool to try to match the perspective as good as we can on this. And if you wanted, you could skip this step of making the little borders and putting things into perspective, and you could just use our original shapes. It'll just push the text all the way to the edges, which is fine too. All right, so we're gonna make this one say side. We're gonna go object, arrange, send to back, selection tool, shift and click on this panel, and then we're gonna do the same thing. Object, envelope, distort, make with top object. All right, so then with that selected, we're going to go object, expand, object and fill. Okay. We're going to sample this color here. We make that just a little bit lighter. And now we have a three-dimensional shape with text on each side. And you can use this for a lot of different things. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I made something like this with the milk carton, where there was text all around the milk carton. And you could just play with this, but it gives you another tool to use in your bag of tricks so that you always are doing something a little bit different with your text. I hope that you got some value from this. I hope that you can use this technique and you find it useful. You can join my Facebook group, which is linked in the description, and ask me any questions about designing or for a critique or for any sort of help that I might be able to help you with on that front. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.